Welcome back to a little meme stock update video. Bevor we continue in English, give me 2 seconds for my German viewers. Für meine deutschen Zuschauer, ab jetzt sind die deutschen Videos auf dem deutschen Kanal. In der Beschreibung steht der Link, weil YouTube schafft den zweisprachigen Kanal einfach nicht. Okay? Okay, so today we will look at AMC, at GameStop. We also make a little update on BYND. Because of earnings tomorrow, we will look also at NIO. And because of the new all-time low, we will also make an update on FFAI. And at the ending, we will do some community wishes, SNDL and CGC. Okay, if you're interested, just stay tuned. As always, I'm using the Fractal Method. I will link the explanation video at the end of the video, or you just search for the playlist Fractal Method on my channel. Well, then let's jump into AMC. So today, just the small update, what we have done today. For the big update with price targets, 1-part squeeze, 2-part squeeze, I will link the big explanation video at the end of the video. If you're interested, today we just look what we have done. So, and we made a new low today. I already said in the last big update video that I don't like this V. I mean, there's always the rule for the V for AMC. We don't allowed to do a double bottom. Okay, this wasn't a double bottom. But the thing is, I also showed that I don't like this formation here. Just because it's the same formation like this, 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 and this. And we nearly even did the same thing like here, here, and here. Yeah, that's the shitty part. I already showed how a real V looked like. I will do this now again, side by side. So, left side, 30 minutes today, middle 2021, 1 hour, right side 2024, April, 30 minutes. And the thing you already see is, in all 3 cases, we fell days, weeks, months to the downside. Same as we do today. Yeah, it isn't the first time that AMC before a squeeze is falling and falling and falling. And I know it's fucking boring. People get angry, blah, blah, blah. But it's always the same. The only thing I really have to say is, because the next question will be, okay, is this now the bottom? First of all, personally, I don't think so. Why? Just because if you look at 2021 and 2024, I already said that in a big update video, you always had a pretty significant real knife down. 2024, knife down. 2021, a little shelf, knife down. Yeah. This on March 3, this wasn't a really knife down. This was just algorithmic sideways. And even if you say this here, is also not really a knife down. Yeah, I want to see something like this. And especially what I want to see, I will show that for FFAI after GME and AMC. I want to see a fucking really nice V. I mean, of course, you could say this is a fucking nice V. Yeah, I give you that. The main problem I have here, this is just a little knife. This is a way bigger knife, and this is also a way bigger knife. So, but I will still give you both versions. Version 1 this wasn't the bottom. Yeah. In that case, I still the opinion we will get something between $1.06 to $1. Yeah. In that case, this is just the hump before the knife. That means that this today was our T last time to sell, and till Friday or maybe till Wednesday and Thursday, I think you should get your V, your bottom this week. But I want to see a fucking big knife. I mean big, just a straight line. And after that, I want to see a nice V out of it. Yeah. That is for if this wasn't the bottom. If this was the bottom, yeah, you will now do your higher low. As always, as back down here, as back here. Yeah. And then you still have to do this. Confirmation for this is if you go over 121, I think you can say this was the bottom. Yeah. For all the versions, if you're just doing higher low and squeeze, or if you do higher low A pullback squeeze, just watch the big video. Today it's just this little update. Personally, I think this wasn't the bottom. But if you break 121, okay, I'm fine with this. Wasn't a double bottom. So, okay, good. Next one is GME. Also for GME, for the big story, how the squeeze look like, price targets, and so on, I will link the big video at the end of the video. Today we just look for what we have done. So let's zoom in. So for GME, we start with the bearish alternatives. Yeah. I'm not seeing that, but that's because I showed it in the German video already. So we start with the bearish version. With the bearish version, the most bearish version is that this top here in February 3rd this year was just our T. In that case, we will go to the 17, 16, 15 price target. Everyone is talking about, but without any reason, because of day. Yeah. For the fractal reason, it's just because this is T, and you have to, and now you have to break under the low, means you have to go lower than 1962. That's the real reason for it, not day, just because the fractalist says that. That is the absolutely bearish version. The bearish but still bullish version means that this peak here, February 3rd, 2026, was just our last higher low before the squeeze. That means that November 21st, 2025 was our bottom. Then we did a beautiful small higher low. And right now you are doing the big high low. Yeah? But this big high low isn't finished yet. Yeah? For this peak we did today, this was just our M. Then we have to reject here, have to fall under 22.82, come up again, reject this trend line again. This would be a T. And then you have to fall to $20.84. You bounce here, make your A. This A will be 28 to 35. Then you do your breakout retest, and then you squeeze. If GME is doing that, I tell you that AMC will do its higher low and its A pullback and then squeeze. This, if we're doing this, March is gone. Most likely April is gone, and you will go in May again. Yeah? Okay, for the bullish version. For the bullish version, we are quite finished. Yeah. For the bullish version, your V in November still the same. Your little higher low is turning into the big higher low, is also finished. You already broke over the trend. This is your small A, and I mean February 3rd was your small A. You already did your breakout retest here. bouncing at the 0.5. And from now on, you go upside. Yeah. You still have to do your A, your big A, which is again between 28 to 35. Then you do your 0.5 pullback or 0.618 pullback, form your low from November till whatever the peak is, 0.5, 0.618, and then you squeeze. In that case, I would imagine that AMC maybe only doing a pullback or is still finding a low and then higher low, and both should meet at this point. Confirmation levels. If GME is breaking over 25.49, the alternatives to the downside are gone for me. They don't exist anymore. Because this is your lower high. There is no other place I can get it. If you break over that, this can't be M anymore. So this has to be finished and you have to go up. Yeah. For confirmation to the downside, I would say if you break 23.42, you can do the higher low thing. Yeah, this one, where you have to go down here. If you break 20, I tell you, you will go to 17, 18, 15. Yeah. I only have that as an alt. I really want to see to break 25. For me, this would be version 1, yeah, the one what I'm leaning to. The higher low version, where you still have to go to 2082, would be version 2. I'm not believing in the 1718 version, but always have an alternative. Okay, next one, FFAI. I already said last time I don't want to make a new low. And we did a new low today. I said for me, if we make a new low, it's hands off. But I still will track it. So hands off, but I still track it. The shitty part is it still looks tracking wise good, but we are getting into a territory right now. They're already talking about name change. We are already under $1 for some time, so they will get the notice now sometime, or you have to go over $1 or you get delisted. Then a reverse split is again on the table, and if FFAI is doing a reverse split, it will be 1,000 to 1 or 100 to 1, I tell you that. Isn't changing the fractal then, but the numbers here. And for shareholders or for options holders, a reverse split is always shitty. But now to the fractal, because it wasn't in the last video. All-time high was our C, then perfect lower high, perfect midpoint, perfect T last time to sell before the V. For the rules 1 to 1, our next target, our A, is at 150, our B is at 5,000. Again, without a forward split, you will never see a share at $5,000. For normal price targets, our next A, small a, is at 4, our next B at 35, and our absolute rejection line would be at 153. And I say it again, I don't expect, if we're still doing something, that we're doing an A pullback, B pullback, C. I think because FFAI is always doing that, whenever the shitty thing is finished, you just see a straight candle to the upside. Like here, 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 and here. Always the same. We did a new all-time low today. So, the funny thing about this is, first of all, if you look at this section here, yeah, this was our previous higher low. A wonderful higher low and little higher lows sideways. And then we knife. The thing is, if we now look at the 30-minute, what is this? You have a beautiful higher low a small micro high low sideways, and a knife after that. In my opinion, this little section here is one-to-one to this section here. It's really one-to-one. Yeah. Here, I mean, look at it. Yeah. High low, sideways, sideways, knife, knife. It's the same fucking shit. Yeah. And what I already said in AMC, this is a knife and a bounce. Yeah. That is a perfect knife and a V bounce. Yeah. That's why it's called V. Yeah. I want to see something like that on AMC. Yeah. So, is this the bottom now? The problem is right now, I can't say yes. I also can't say no. My main problem right now is if we're really comparing this to this, yeah, for my feeling, we would be right now here. Yeah, this here is this here. Yeah, that means you still have to go lower. Yeah, but I can't prove that. I really say I can't prove that because we don't have anything down here. There are no EMAs, no resistance, nothing. Yeah, because all-time low down here is nothing. Next problem is, let's say this was the V. Yeah, are we squeezing if this was the V? No. Yeah, we still have to do the higher low. Yeah, that's why it's so shitty. So there are only two versions. If this is the bottom or not, we need confirmation. But version 1, you're doing 2 smaller higher lows and then you just go. Or you do a big higher low, which isn't breaking $1 or 89 cents, maybe a little micro high low after that, and then you go. But this will take time, in my opinion. Yeah? And the only way how this would look like is before our 10,000% move. Yeah? You also had here in April 2024 a V, a small higher low, another small higher low, and then you got the 10,000% move. Yeah? And all these lows here were very close to say, fuck, we are breaking higher low. Yeah? The same thing what we are doing in the last weeks. So the next problem for FFAI is it won't give you confirmation. Yeah, that I'm 100% sure. Yeah, if you're doing now a little higher low, there will be no warning if it's only one little higher low. If you're doing 2, no warning. If you're doing the big one, no warning. Yeah, this will end one day in a higher low, and then the next day you will run, as it's always doing. For me, it's still hands off. Yeah, I have no confirmation that this was the V. Yeah, if we're now doing a little higher low and holding that, okay. But again, then it's just the same problem we had here, the same problem we had here. Yeah, it's a shit stock. And I mean the stock, not the company behind it. Maybe their cars are beautiful. The fractal for the stock is shit. Trackable, but still shit. Okay, next one is NIO. And for NIO, just saying, because I said FFAI has a shit fractal. What do I mean with that? NIO has a beautiful fractal. Why? Because it's absolutely clear. Yeah, what I mean with that. First of all, I'm showing it because tomorrow pre-market is earnings. Normally, I hate earnings, but I bought a little position 1 minute before market close because it is looking so good. Okay, for the fractal, the IPO of NIO started in the pullback of A. Yeah? In October 2019 was our all-time low, and from October or September, no, September 2019 till April 2025, this was just our B. Again, why is that not A? Why is that not higher low? Because if you take the fib from all-time low to the peak, you see you bounced between the 618 and the 786. This can't be higher low, because for higher low you would have go under 786. So this could easily be still your A, but it doesn't matter. Yeah? If this is A or B, doesn't matter. If this is A, then your next big macro target would be B. But the thing why it doesn't matter is your next move has to go over this. If this is B or C, doesn't matter. It only matters after this move. But for now, this doesn't matter. It only has to go over all-time highs. So we did our B or A pullback and made our low here in April 2025. Then we did a perfect higher low. Also, this is a perfect example how AMC should look like. This here was our perfect higher low. We broke out of the trend. We went over the T-line. So this here is our perfect A and perfect breakout retest. Because if you look from our bottom to our peak, we perfectly bounced at the 618. So if we're only looking now at A, so only at this, A was starting here. We have here our small a, here our small b, and here our top. After the top, we made a perfect lower high, perfect midpoint, perfect T, V. And in the last days, we formed this higher low. And also this higher low is a perfect higher low. Even if you zoom around here, you see perfect higher low. So for the absolute bullish version and for the absolute cheap version, tomorrow, earnings, we go. Next target is our B, around 16, I would say, to 20. Yeah. And for rules 1 by 1, 0.5 pullback, and then we go to our C. I still have the target that we get this B end of April, June. If we're not doing something stupid and just do this, I will come to that in a second. Because, yeah, I'll come to this in a second. The only alternative right now I have is that this here wasn't our V and this here was our T. In that case, you still have to reject this trend line and go down, but there's not much room. Yeah? Because for an A pullback, you're not allowed to touch the 786. So you're not allowed to touch 373, which I don't think we will. So if this was your T, you still have to come lower, I would say $4, and then you go. Yeah. Always have an alternative. So what did I mean with stupid move is this? And that's also the reason why I said that NIO has a beautiful fractal, and FFAI has a shit fractal. Because we already saw how A and B looks like. So left side is October 2019 bis 20. Right side is now. Left side 24 hour, right side 8 hour. And even without my fractal rules, you already see what I mean, I think. Yeah? You fell down. You fell down. You get your V. You get your V. You get your higher low. You get your higher low. You get your breakout. You get your breakout. You have an head and shoulders. You have an head and shoulders. You're over your T. you're over your T. You make on the left side in 2019 a pullback to the 618. What we did right now is a pullback to the 618. Even without my rules, you can easily just see with the absolute blank eye. You could even say, do we look at the same chart right now? And now the interesting part, if you zoom in here, you see here we did a small higher low, a big higher low, and then the run. Right now, you could say, you have here your small higher low, which would be this small higher low. This would be a big higher low. This would be big higher low. And you're ready for the run. The only thing is this was a double bottom here. So it's not one-to-one, but there's also a possibility that this little thing is this little thing. Okay, then you still have to do this, and then you go. Yeah, but all in all, this thing looks fucking sick right now, in my opinion. And what I meant with stupid, this is the next run you get, or you should get, if you're really repeating it one-to-one. And this here is this pullback. But if you look here, there are no really pullbacks here. I mean, you have a little pullback at B, but this is not a 0.5. This is just a little pullback. So all in all, what if we just do something stupid? What if we're just doing this? I can't rule that out. Would be sick. And it would be quite quick. Yeah. That's why I like the Fractal for NIO way better. Way better than FFAI. Okay, FFAI is way cheaper, but this looks way better. Yeah, and closer. Yeah, FFAI could take till next year. This thing should start in the next weeks, at least if it's not already starting tomorrow. Let's see. Okay. Next one is BYND. So for BYND, also, again, if you want to see the full story, watch the big video I will link at the end of the video. Today we just look what we have done today. So let's zoom in. So we don't have a lot of versions left, just to say that. We start with the most bullish version. Means that our big higher low, and I mean the big higher low of October, is finished. Means that this breakout, what we are doing since 2 weeks, is our little a, is finished. Means also that this V, what we did today, was our V. I already said in the last videos that as long as we're not touching or breaking 71 cents, everything is still absolutely bullish. I also said if you touch or break 71 cents 67, this can't be A anymore. In that case, this whole thing is our last higher low. In that case, you have to put it here. This is your higher low. But in that case, you most likely not finished yet. Because then, of course, first of all, you have to touch 71. But then you will fill this gap. I tell you that. I'm talking about from the gap 66 to 65. You will fill this gap. And then we can sweat again if we please holding 64 and not touching 64. If you touch 64, oh my, okay, then complete different story. Don't think that, but just as a warning. If not, bullish version still stands, and I'm absolutely still bullish, especially with this candle today. This was a massive volume candle today during the market night. Thing is, what was that? In the mode, first of all, this is micro tracking. Normally, I wouldn't do that. Normally, I would just say, okay, perfect A. I set an all-at here. I set an all-at here. I'll come to that in a second. And then I'm not looking at it again. Yeah, I'm just waiting. Yeah, but because I'm showing to you, I micro-track. So for this, you have here your A, your top, lower high, midpoint, T, V. This candle, what we did today, is easily our A. Yeah, and what I mean with that, this is just this little shitty thing here. It's just this. Yeah, nothing more. Yeah, we went near our T, we went over trend line. Perfect. So for the bullish version, you just go up from here. For the bearish version, but not the absolute bearish version, this is just a little higher low. Yeah, and you still have to come a little bit down here. In that case, you have to come down to, what is that, 75.45. Yeah, under this, and then you go. Come on. Then you go. Confirmation levels. The thing is, whatever we are doing, as I said, 71, not good, but not that. Yeah? Levels to the upside, if you go over 89.30 cents, all the downside alternatives are off the table. They are just off the table, and we go up, in my opinion. If we're doing then and little A, B, C, and so on, watch the big update video. I showed every single version I have. All in all, I still see right now, end of April, latest, no financial advice, our run to our big A. And big A should be over 15 to 25-ish. One last thing. The thing is, if you look at FFAI, it's beyond. The up moves, you see that in the higher low, massive to the downside or upside. The T move, massive upside. The M move, not so massive, but still quick upside. The L move, massive upside. The IPO move from half B to C, massive upside. All the moves up on beyond are quite straight lines. Yeah, always the pullbacks are slow, grindy shit. So what I mean with that, the thing is, I have two variants here. Whatever we are doing down here, the move to A should be massive quick up, and then a monthly long slow downgrind. Then a quick massive move to B, and slow fucking grind downside. And the same for C again. Yeah. But there's one point I can't rule out, the same as NIO. We only saw half of B to C. Nobody can say that it wasn't looking like this here. Yeah, I mean with that we just could do something stupid like this here. Yeah, I can't rule that out. I wouldn't bet on it, but I can't rule it out. And especially because this fractal here, if we are bullish, is finished since October 2025. It's finished. So the next move, whatever this is, what I mean with that, this is a ladder. Yeah, this is any kind of ladder. It's a C, L, M, T, higher, low, A, B, C. Something is this. Yeah, this is an A, a B, or a C. This whole thing. So whatever comes after that is also, if this is an A, then the next thing is a B. And the stupid part, what I mean is, all these letters are straight candles. So I wouldn't say it's impossible that we're doing such a candle to the next macro ladder. Yeah, I wouldn't bet on it, but case is there. Okay. So now to the community wishes. We start with Sunday. So the easiest, I think it's the most easiest fractal I have. Two versions only, bullish and bearish. We start with the bullish one here. For the bullish one, IPO is in its all-time highs, then lower high, perfect midpoint, massive M. Then we fall down, make a new low, come up again. Here, May 2024 was our T, and then we fell to our all-time low. Then we are doing since July 2025 till today our higher low. And I mean the last higher low before we ending the fractal. Thing is, this higher low isn't finished. Yeah. You still have to do your V under A. The higher low is always ending in a V under A or at the 786. And you're not there yet. There are only two ways. Yeah. You're coming up, reject this trend line. This would be then your little t. That would be something around $2. Or this is already your t, and you still have to come down. You have to come down at least $1.40 under, also under $1.41. And then when this is finished, your next target is your A, which has to be over T, which has to be over $3-ish, 4 or 5. Breakout retest, and then you go to your B. And your B has to be over 50. That's stupid, but fractal. The bearish alternative is that our last peak in October 2025 was our T. In that case, you have to make a new low wherever it is, and then a higher low, which won't break over the trend line. And then you have the same targets. The same target for your A as the bullish version, the same target as your B. No financial advice, how I would play it if you want to play it and you're not having a position. I would wait for this. I won't play this. I would just wait for the breakout retest, because this would be confirmation. And to be real, this is not money, but the move from breakout retest to B, this is money. I will have a look at it, but I would say this will still take some. Also, I would think we won't see something massive this year. I think this is a play for next year, but with enough volume, let's see. Okay, and the last one is, can opening grow? And this one is also quite easy to track. The IPO started in the B pullback. Then you had a very slow grinding to your C. Perfect lower high, perfect midpoint, not so perfect T, V. Also here, there are only one bullish, one bearish version. The bearish version is because I don't like this. The M and the T so close together. So for the bearish version, this last peak we did on December 2025, this was your T. In that case, you will have to do a new low wherever it is, then a higher low under the trend line. Then your next A is over 230, breakout retest. B stays always the same, doesn't matter if bullish or bearish, has to be over 50. 0.5 pullback, and then the only question is, are you breaking all-time highs or not? The thing is, the pullback of B could be short. The run to all-time highs, I think if you repeat that shit, this will take years. Yeah. The bullish version would be, as I showed before, this was your T on September 2023. And for this, you already did your V. Your all-time low would be April 2025. This would be your 3 higher lows. Yeah. First one, second one, third one. I tell you, there is enough space for a fourth one. Just saying. But then your next target is A over 20. Yeah. Then 0.5 pullback. And then you go to your B and so on. Personally, for me, it would only get interesting if you go over 2.40, no financial advice. Then it will get interesting. Everything under 240, not interested for me. Yeah, because you still could do a new low or whatever. And also the same problem, we never saw A and the run to B. The only thing we know how B pullback is looking like and how C run is looking like. Okay, good. As always, explanation video here, playlist here. The video with the full stories back here. As always, if you liked it, you can leave a like. If you want to see more, you can give me an abo. And let's see what happens the rest of the week. Market crash? No market crash? Market rally? Will be interesting. War? No war? Okay.